Friends, let me thank all of you for inviting me. I know you invited me because I'm heading a prestigious project, Vinyam International Seaport Limited. You all know we have been trying to get this project through for last 20 years. And now we are starting the work. I think I'll share some of my experiences with you. Basically, I'm a project man. I did my engineering from College of Engineering, Trivandrum, later MPA also. My respected teacher, Mr. Salim sir, is here. I'm very happy. So I'll share some of my experiences in this project. I'll take middle two letters here, U and C. This project is a very complex project and very uncertain also. Why this project is very complex? Because three reasons I can tell you. Doing a project almost 20, 30 years before, it's not that difficult in anywhere, any part of the world. Now times have changed. The most difficult part of this project was the environmental and social issues related to this project. Then we want to do this project because we have a natural depth of 20 to 22 meters in that area, which nowhere India has that depth, where you can dock largest vessels ever made in the world. So one advantage is one side, the other disadvantage is the social issues and environmental issues. We conducted very detailed studies on this. It was done by L&T Rampur. Then the question is, I think you have a very interesting presentation there on related to social media. I don't know, you're all youngsters, this is one project which is debated in the social media. There are so many interesting stories, so many interesting. We kept away from that. The whole team, especially me and my team, totally kept away from social media because of the obvious reasons. If anyone comment, because there are other political issues also involved in this project. So what we did is, it's a very complex and very uncertain. Uncertainty itself, we have that by the time we have decided to implement this project, Chinese have established a very huge container terminal in Colombo. And they are setting up another one, second one in Hambantota. Colombo and Hambantota both are in Sri Lanka. So it is, whether to do this project as a then other major issues of viability of the project. See, one should understand that the viability of a project, how you assess the viability of a long gestation period, such mega project. It takes 15 years to become viable, financially viable. It was debated. Then the question is whether you have to do this project if it is not bringing back any money. Then why should you do the project? Then we have gone for a AR study and all that. Then again the project is whether to be implemented by the government of Kerala or by the private sector, to be given to the private sector. Again, this is an ideological issue. Lot of debates on that. We don't believe in PPP projects. Unfortunately, Government of India, they promote only PPP projects in infrastructure. They say if the projects are, I know that the subject is little dry and boring, and also as Sabrina said, ഉച്ചയ്ക്ക് ശേഷമുള്ളതാണ്. അതിന് മുമ്പ് വളരെ കിടിലൻ, നിങ്ങളുടെയൊക്കെ ഭാഷയെ പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു കിടിലൻ പ്രസൻറ്റേഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, സിനിമയായിട്ട് റിലേറ്റഡ് ഒക്കെ ആയിരുന്നു. എന്നാലും ഞാൻ പറയുകയാണ്, ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ സേസ് if you want to do it, a mega project, give it to private sector. Then we say this, but most of the states say the projects are not viable, financially viable. Then they come out with a new scheme. It's called Viability Gap Funding Scheme. What is Viability Gap Funding Scheme? Suppose most of these projects, long gestation period projects, are not financially viable. It takes more time to become viable. So what we do is, we ask private sector to do this project, ask them to quote the grant you require. There are some norms. The total project, up to 40% we can give. That is, the Government of India says up to 40% you give the grant, one-time grant, they promoted. Then don't give anything. Give maximum of 40%. Can be a global tender, global competitive tendering process. Whoever got the lowest grant, or highest premium. No, when you say grant, somebody can offer you premium also. We don't know whether it's financially feasible or not. Only the private man can say that. When you, the people who are going to do it, they only know it. They have their own market intelligence, they do studies and all that. That's how we have decided to viability gap funding. That again, most respected people like Sridharan, they have said, he doesn't believe in projects, done by private sector. No, our basic problem is we want all the projects to be done by government. And you spend money and cost overrun, time overrun, and it never will complete, and you will never be able to operate it also. You're all youngsters, one should realize that. If you want to do mega, we don't have money. Where is the money to do such projects? So you have to depend private sector. They are very efficient. But only thing is, you have to have a proper, transparent selection process to find out the partner. That's what we did it. Then actually when the project is very complex, what you do? You have to structure in such a way. We structured in such a way that, we have done a detailed study, and one part, that viability part, we have done a detailed study, and Ernst & Young has come out with a feasibility study. It's not a financially viable project. It takes 15 years to become viable. So we have decided to go for the VGF route. Second point is environmental issue. We have gone for a very detailed study. You won't believe it is a 30-month study. It is both social and environmental issues, technical issues. All studies were done. Almost all technical studies were done. Social impacts, so sea shoreline changes, that things is all challenged again. Of course, L&D has done a wonderful work. Then there is a very detailed social impact study. It's a team led by Dr. Lada Bhaskar. She is from Trivandrum. Though the work is done by L&T Rampur. And she did that study. Then we have identified directly affected people, indirectly affected people, social impact. I think she had interviewed almost 40 households, and they have come out with very decent packages for fishermen. No fishermen. But this particular area only that, I don't know whether you know that Chippi Varakkanavarum, Kamba Valakkaru Madra, they're all very poor fishermen. They're all identified. These issues were identified. They have to be rehabilitated. Now we are discussing. Now when you started implementing, there are some larger issues came. Then one group started telling that the whole, even Kollam beach will not be there for 100 meters north and 100 meters south. It will be washed away. But we have done a detailed study, shoreline studies are done. Technical studies were done. And there is a close monitoring now. Now we are closely monitoring the shoreline. When each stone is put there, we'll watch what is happening in the shoreline. There can be corrective steps. It's a very detailed study, and it is published. And it's very interesting things. It's the only project in India we have conducted 40 public consultations with different stakeholders. 40 public consultations. The law requires that if the EAA rule says you have to have only one public consultation, public hearing. It's called public hearing by the district collector, and it's an independent thing, not by the project proponent. And that was done. Before that, we did 40 public consultants. Almost all groups, churches, temples, mosques, their leaders, fishermen, then resort workers, resort owners, farmers, landowners, all these are done. And excellent package. One of the excellent packages in Kerala has ever given for land acquisition. And it was a total purchase. 90% of the land we have purchased. Of course, so 3-4 resorts will be affected. When you saw such a mega project, can't help it. They went to, it's a democratic country, when we publish the document, they challenge the document. They even challenged it in the court, then they have gone to a Green Tribunal. Nobody can go to Green Tribunal. It was challenged. We have some problems with Green Tribunal. We went to Supreme Court, and now Supreme Court has stayed that order of the Green Tribunal. That's one side of the story. Other side is finding a partner. That was also a very difficult task. We have gone for a global tendering process. Finally we got only one man. I thought we will get at least two, but we got a correct man. He only can do it because we are in Kerala. I don't think Hyundai was there in the beginning. Hyundai was there, Samsung was there, but finally they didn't turn up. But I doubt with this, this environment, Hyundai and Samsung will not survive for more than a month. Even now I'm telling you, All these people, their team is here, their equipments are there, the treasure is in Koilon, and it is coming because this present harbor doesn't have the facility to dock that big treasure. So it has come to Koilon. Anyway, it is coming to Trandon. We are not able to start the work. Still, the problem is we have now identifying the beneficiaries. Because when this list was published, it was published in the Gazette. Then one good thing we did was everybody was given the opportunities to give an appeal. We received 18,000 appeals. What to do with the 18,000 appeals on that? I know there are only Kambawala maximum 250 people. I know there are another 200 chippy parakannavar. But they should be rehabilitated. മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ അർഹരായ ഒരാളെ പോലും ഒഴിവാകാൻ പാടില്ല. പൂവർ ഫിഷർമാനാണ്. പക്ഷെ അനർഹൻ കയറുന്നു. ദാറ്റ്സ് ദി ഇഷ്യൂ നൗ. ഹൗ ടു സോൾവ് ദാറ്റ്? Anyway, that Adani is here because they have 9 ports with them in India, and this is going with the 10th port. You all know because it's all in the media, because the importance is the depth, depth and no maintenance dredging. The Kochi has a problem of maintenance dredging every year. Government of India, though it is a Vallarpadam content terminal is operated by a private operator, Government of India has to spend almost 125 crores a year for dredging alone. Here you say there is no dredging, no dredging, but the natural depth of 20 to 22 meters there. But again, the disadvantage is it is not a natural port. Please understand, it is not a natural port. We have to construct like Kochi, Arabical Rani and all. It's not a natural port. We have to construct a very big breakwater. Almost in the first phase, the length is about 3.1 kilometers. 3.1 kilometers at a depth of 22 meters. I don't think anywhere in India has done this much. Lengthwise that breakwaters are done, but depthwise, if you take, this is the first time. There too in the sea. I think some of the civil engineers who are sitting here may know the most difficult thing is marine structures, marine structures. Anyway, they have a 2,000 member company. It's called PMC Projects Limited, Adani. They are looking after. There is a marine structure engineering company. So their country is best now. That is one side of it. The other side is, when you do projects in Kerala, you call me because, now it is going to be a success. I think you say I'm in the head of this institution, I'm a good leader, so I can talk about the election. But suppose we fail, I'm sure you would not have called me as a. Doesn't mean that those who are there with earlier for last 20 years are all good leaders. Why they missed it? It is not because, I'm trying to relate some of the management concepts with this thing. Very few concepts. So basically, see, when you are in this game, it is said, either lead or follow or get out of the way. There's all the 3 options before you. They're all managers. Either you follow or lead or, So I have to lead, I have a team. I have to build a team. It's a very difficult task to build a project team in Kerala. First of all, I've gone to a global selection process. I have even advertised it may lead to audit objections tomorrow, I know. Because I've gone even to Middle East and all that, advertised. I got the best guys from engineering, a very small team. So basically now I think, when you relate these things, I have to discuss, I won't take much time. 2 points, three concepts on these things. One is the mental leadership. Second one is resilience. Third is situational leadership. That is the most important when you do a project in Kerala. I'm trying to relate these things, The first thing is the mental leadership. It comes from your philosophical thinking and your big yes. What is it? It is the attitude. It is the attitude. I'm telling you again, when you do a project, when you manage a project, when you lead a project, it is your positive attitude which is going to make you success. If your attitude is not positive, don't go for this job. In Kerala, at least in Kerala. And again, the team members' attitude. That's very, very critical. Very critical. Very critical. But you can, I've read somewhere, because when training, all these management training in organizations, they avoid always, attitude training. It is highly essential, highly essential. See, and again, your personal attitude, it affects your team members, your mood, how you behave with them. See, these are all the factors, in this such a mega project, when you lead a team. See, one side your attitude, the other side the attitude of team members. Both are very, very critical. Then one day if you are not happy, then look yourself. It is not their problem. Morning when you go to office, your mood and your attitude and how you deal people, how you deal things, all different. So one critical factor is attitude. That is, I'll tell you, this is a mental leadership. Second factor I wanted to tell is that strength, resilience. I know you all know about it. What it is your inner strength to take it, your mental strength to react to it, your outer strength to respond to it, and all your strengths to recover from it. I say it is to recover from it. That is very important as a leader. See, you have to give simple and understandable answers to your complex problems. Every day we have problems. Every day we encounter problems in projects. How you face it, how you deal it, how you recover from it. The most important thing is how you recover from that. It starts from it starts from your attitude. It starts from your attitude. If you want to recover it, you can recover it. You have to have a positive attitude. You should have first. You have to you have to analyze it. You have to come out with solutions, or you cannot run away from that. That's the most important thing is how you recover from it. It can be through a positive process. It can be only through a positive process. But the other important thing is the stress and worry. The amount of problems we encounter in projects every day, it causes you stress and worry. That is a very, very, very critical point in this thing. But again, the worry is not, it's only a symptom. Please understand, this worry is only a symptom. It is not a problem. You have to find out the problem and find solutions for that. So that is the resilience leadership, I say. The third one is also very important, that is situational leadership. Because very important in Kerala context, I would say that. Situational approach. Here, we are talking about the leaders, We are all talking about the leadership qualities and all that. Only about the leaders. When you talk about the mental leadership, resilience and all that, we are talking about only leaders. Now, when you talk about the task and followers, that is a situational leadership. Now we started thinking about the task. Then started thinking about the followers. Followers means your team members. First, identify the task, specific task. Diagnosis, followers. Actually, then you prepare your followers. We have few units, that Mohanlal's units is there. DC has started a management institute for the media management, but now it is a general this thing. So I have interest, but it's a very good presentation they have made, because excellent presentation. So anything you want me to share? You can ask questions, anything, any question related to this project. Nothing. Not consultants. You say that investors. Yeah, correct. No. Project. You see, one thing I'll tell you. This project, if you want to be successful, you have to get the market share of Chinese company. It's not an easy job, because already they have established a container terminal in Colombo. they are also in the same international. You know, one advantage is depth, other advantage is we are in the international shipping route. They are also in the international shipping route. They also have the natural depth, but run by Chinese. That efficiency is there. They're already in the field and get their market. Almost 40% of the Indian transshipment is happening in Colombo now. So to ship that transshipment, not that easy. That's the one reason. But why then you then ask why Adani came? Because Adanis, they have almost 9 ports with them. At least they can, in the initial stages, they can divert their traffic to this place. That is one advantage with Adani. Pardon? Ah. 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 No. How can they control? Nobody can control. No. It is only a competition. I am telling you. If we are, because even I'll tell you, Colombo is in the international shipping route. Vallarpadam DP terminal is private sector is in there, and Adani is also going to be in the same area. So they have to compete each other. They have to compete each other and get the market share. That is the thing. No, I'll tell you, if you take JNPT, India's largest container terminal in Bombay, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust container terminal, they have 4 or 5 container terminals. One terminal is managed by Government of India, all terminals are managed by private sector. Not a single ship is coming to the Government of India container. Because competition is.
I take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to Mr. Suresh Babu AS, Managing Director and CEO, Virinyam International Seaport Limited, Kerala, for the valuable insights and enlightening thoughts he has shared with us on this occasion. Thank you, sir.